Hello, and welcome to the Orthodontic Products Podcast. I am your host, Alison Werner. Today's guest is Dr. Sherif Kandil, the founder and CEO of K-Line Europe, the manufacturer that produces ClearX aligners, an aligner system that incorporates 4D technology. ClearX aligners will make their debut at AAO this weekend, so this is a perfect time to learn more about what this aligner company brings to the table. Dr. Kandil, thanks for joining me.
Thanks a lot for hosting me, Alison.
Great. So let's dive in. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about your career and what led you to founding this company and to getting to this aligner system?
Yeah, well, I mean, it all started for me first practicing dentistry myself back in Egypt, in Cairo, almost 12 years ago, where I first started my practice. And I kind of like exclusively focused on aligners from day one. It was a very, very new thing back then in the Egyptian market. And I transitioned from that to even offering these aligners equally to also other doctors. And then by the time I started to think, okay, I think it's about time to study orthodontics in Germany and move with the career and everything towards to Germany accordingly. So, I mean, back then in Egypt, I had my own orthos in my practices and had also my orthos in the lab who did the treatment planning. And then when I transitioned to move to Germany, I finished my orthodontic studies, then decided to establish K-Line Europe. So started to see then the world from a totally different angle as an orthodontic entrepreneur. And from one, there was this mission to redefine orthodontics through innovation. So this was like always on my mind. How could we improve status quo and go with the evolution of orthodontics to the next stage? And the thing that caught me really heavily was when I've seen once NASA having these articles, very interesting articles about 4D printing. And it was like very, very new and almost, I think it was back then in almost a year 2000, I think maybe 14, where I first saw it. And then it kind of struck me, wow, this is such an amazing technology that NASA did it before with in the orthodontic world through their innovative night-tie wires that they introduced for straight wires, and it kind of like changed orthodontics in the 1980s. And they did it again through plastic this time, and that's how the whole idea came from, and started to work on the idea of 4D aligners.
Okay, so can you break down what this 4D technology does for an aligner, what incorporating it does?
Yeah, so it's the idea of 4D, first of all, is related to time and shape shifting. So that's the fourth dimension that we refer to in 4D. Now, how do we do that? It refers to the manufacturing process through which you pre-program an object in a certain shape, and then after you put a certain stimulus, it changes its shape back to the pre-programmed one that you had from the beginning. So in other words, let's say in the aligner world, what we do is basically we pre-program an aligner to have a temporary memory and a permanent memory. So it's like almost like there are two steps of thermoforming that are done that control these two steps or control these two shapes accordingly. There is one shape that the patient wears, which is the temporary shape, and it fits perfectly on the teeth. And then after 1 week of wearing, the patient, what we're going to describe later, boosts the aligner, which stimulates the aligner or the plastic polymer to change its geometry to the permanent shape of the thermoforming that was done in the manufacturing process. And that's how it moves from one shape to another, whether in the manufacturing, and we reverse that when the patients receive the aligners and they boost it at home.
Okay, so at AAO, you're going to be debuting the ClearX Aligner Classic system. Can you talk about what that system brings to the table and what orthodontists can expect when they see this?
Sure. I mean, first of all, we're super excited about this opportunity. We have been, since we started, since our debut in March 2023 in Cologne, we started with the almost sole focus on the European market, and now we are getting for the first time into the US market with this amazing product. On the AAO on our booth, we're going to be like almost all the time showing like demos live sessions showing exactly how aligners change their shape. So we're going to be showing, live how an aligner before boosting looks like, and then we're going to place it inside the booster, and then we take it out, and then we show the doctors how the aligner feature of shape shifting works. Now, this technology, it brings so many things on the table, and it's just the very first step of so many other steps that will open the gate towards Internet of Medical Things that is lacking, in my opinion, a lot in orthodontics. Now, let's start it step by step. I mean, currently, where do we stand? We stand at a point where we are earnest to have two shapes. And with that, we decrease the plastic waste and decrease the number of aligners by half. Now, that's, again, what I said is just the first step, because we have already the proof of concept of that it could even decrease even to almost 75%. So imagine all the aligner waste that we have per single day that would shrink by 50% if everyone adopts the same technology. Now, we're producing almost like 1.2 million aligners per single day. I'm going to talk about globally, everyone, including Align and all others, all combined, almost 1.2 million aligners per day. That is humongous amount of plastic that is thrown in landfills at the end or in the oceans. And we're determined to decrease that. And that's the very first step towards later on working on many steps that are taking the path towards Internet of Medical Things, where we start to integrate more of like biology, monitoring, lifestyle into the treatments of the patient to create a customized treatment throughout the journey of patients. I'll talk about that in a bit, but for now, just wanted to give you like an idea in total, like what does it bring right now on the table in terms of advantage, and where it should be going in the future. And while it's going there in the future, the idea itself of decreasing the plastic brings other advantages as well with it to the customer or the patient in that sense. Where first it increases the compliance. So it's like exactly you're having, let's say, or comparing, let's say, a diabetic patient without any monitoring app or without any monitoring gadgets. Same goes for example, me trying to, do sports every single day or exercise every single day without my smartwatch, right? I mean, we need gadgets as humans, we need gadgets to commit more, to give more, to feel more responsible for something, but also to feel rewarded. And that's exactly what patients feel when they start to boost their aligner and they take it out and they will start to wear it, and then they feel immediately the difference. It feels like it's a new aligner. So that's the kind of like the reward that kicks in for the patients, that they feel that they're part of something, and this something is rewarding as well to them, and this increases the compliance massively. In orthodontic treatments. I mean, we're doing a lot of research on that, comparing the compliance of patients with standard aligners in comparison to 4D aligners, and the results are staggering. I mean, it's most of the patients were reporting that they feel the sense of responsibility. They feel that they're also part of something big, where they're working, or they're not just only fixing their teeth and getting a beautiful smile, but they're also part of something that is eco-friendly. And again, they have their hands in it as well, so it's also fun.
Okay, so that's sustainability.
So that's mostly, from all angles.
Perfect. I know we have a little bit of a lag. No, the sustainability aspect I find really interesting, because as I've talked to you before about that, you've explained this to me before, so I'll just kind of explain it to our readers as I understand it. With this, one aligner can get a patient through 2 weeks, because you're using that booster, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, to transition the aligner to that second stage. So you're cutting down, as you said, on the aligner waste. So let's break this down a little bit further. From the treatment planning stage, what should orthodontists experience with that? Is it any different from treating with a traditional aligner?
Well, when it comes to the treatment, let's say complexities of cases or malocclusions that could be treated, there is no difference at all. It's almost more or less the same. When it comes to the setups, the doctors will just realize that the results that could be achieved with any other aligner system is achieved with half of the aligners with ClearX. That's basically the only difference that they will see between, let's say, both setups of treatment plans designed by ClearX and any other standard aligner system.
Okay, great. So then when the patient gets their package, they're going to be getting their aligners and then a booster. So can you talk about the patient experience and then exactly what that booster is? You kind of showed it there for a second there, and that it does transition to the second form, but how does it do it?
Absolutely. So I'll show it again.
Yeah.
So the patients, when they receive their box, it includes the booster, the accessories, obviously, and also the aligners, where there is almost like a place for, let's say, almost like 4 to 5 aligners that, or let's say aligner sets that the doctor could give to the patient. Now the booster is a very simple device, as you could see here. We designed the boosting process in a very simple way that anyone can do it, through which the patients will be literally just placing the aligners inside the booster. They'll just boil water and pour boiling water directly on the aligner and just close the lid for 10 minutes, take it out, wear the aligner once again. Now, what do they experience when they take the aligner out and wear it? One is definitely they feel like, okay, it's like a new aligner. It feels like, okay, there was some pressure on certain areas where the teeth are moving or should be or programmed to move. That's one. Second is that there will be like a refreshing for the mechanical properties that would happen also for all the other areas in general, the plastic, through which when you heat the aligner to a certain temperature, which is more or less the same temperature that is required for the shape shifting to happen, it starts to recover also the original shape of the areas, let's say, especially at the back teeth, where because of the grinding or the paroxysm even of the aligners on the aligners for like a whole week, what happens is that at the back teeth, sometimes the aligners start to just like move out a little bit, they start to distance themselves slightly from the teeth. Now, when we boost the aligners snap again, once again, on the teeth on the back. And that's what the patients also reports. Like, I feel like, okay, in the front, for example, there is like certain areas where I feel that there's pressure, but I also feel in the back that it snaps more as if it's a new aligner once again. Aligners are almost disinfected, or because I mean you pour boiling water, so most of the bacteria, I mean above 72 degrees, are dead. Thus, the aligner comes out of the booster. It's a hygienic, clean liner. It's super fresh for them when they wear it. It feels like it's new, and they continue wearing it for another week, and then they change to the next aligner and so on. So they keep doing that throughout the whole cycle. Now, the one thing that makes the experience even more exciting is that this is also connected to the mobile app. So the patient, when they start the treatment at the very start, in the very beginning, there is a mobile app which is optional. I mean, they could have it or they could not. Depends on if they want to have the full experience or not. And through the mobile app, I mean, they will very easily just scan a QR code that is a customized QR code for that particular patient, generated with every single case manufactured. And when they scan that code, the treatment details will be uploaded automatically or populated automatically inside the app for that particular patient, so that they would see exactly the calendar, when am I starting, when is the next boost, etc., etc. So it gives kind of notifications or reminders for the patient, but also makes it a little bit of, like a kind of a gamification process that kind of also incentivizes the patient or gives the feeling of reward throughout the whole treatment.
Oh, great. Can you talk about, because I'm sure people are wondering what, because you're using boiling water and heat to change the shape of the aligner, what's to prevent like a hot drink, for example, changing the shape of the aligner?
I mean, it could happen, but in one case where someone would be, let's say, drinking very hot coffee and keep it in their mouth for 10 minutes. That's the only maybe scenario where that would happen. But other than that, it would never boost with normal drinking or normal lifestyle, because again, it was designed in a way so that it needs temperatures above 90 degrees and would be kept for a few minutes time. Ideally above 5 minutes, and we say 10 minutes, and then they take it out. So it's highly, very highly unlikely that it would happen anywhere else except only through the boosting process.
Okay, great. So what else would you like doctors to know about treatment progression, or outcomes for these cases and their use of this aligner system?
So I think the doctors should look at it from several perspectives. So we're trying to accelerate the adoption of eco-friendly solutions in the aligner market. And we do know, and we have to be very transparent about this, like so many doctors are not the most eco-friendly enthusiasts. But we're trying to raise that awareness, and we're also trying to um, like annex the advantages that come through the ClearX with the eco-friendly part with other advantages related to the mechanical part and the biomechanics, as well as to the efficiency of the aligners, because we use very high quality multi-layer material as well that comes with very, very amazing properties in terms of anti-stain. I mean, pleased with the same quality before it's boosted. And we've done all the studies to prove that as well and to validate all these steps before the boosting, after the boosting. How does the material react? How does it push the teeth? What are the forces exerted on the teeth after the boosting? All these things. So at this point of time, I think what I would tell doctors is that eco-friendliness is certainly something that is about time that we start to take it more seriously in our practices, not just only for us but also for our patients. It's something that they could actually be marketed also very, very efficiently in practice, and we see that throughout so many practices using ClearX in Europe, where patients prefer to use a more eco-friendly product with less plastic than another one that uses double the amount of plastic, right? On the other hand, all the properties of the material that bring the results of the treatment to in almost, I'd say, 80, according to 82% of the cases directly without refinements to the end result. Now that's a very profound statement, yet all the data that we have prove that our refinement rates are very, very low. And the need for even mid-course corrections is in the magnitude of almost 0.2 to 0.5% of our cases. So the teeth tracking is great. The end results are very predictable. These are things that I think every orthodontist and dentist would love to always have from the very beginning, to know that, okay, I trust to reach this product. I want to deliver to my patients something that they would be proud of, but also what I would be proud of at the end, to reach the results that I was promised, or at least that was suggested to me on the treatment plans from the start.
Great. One of the other things that you'll have at a neighboring booth is K-Line Europe's OEM services, and you'll be debuting that as well at AAO, and this is kind of the entry into the U.S. market for this aspect of the company. Can you talk about what you're offering with these OEM services?
So, I mean, the OEM service is a service where we give access to aligner innovation to any aligner provider, whether it's a company, whether it is a DSO, or even a dental orthodontic lab. We have all the tools that we have developed by ourselves or even made available, and we offer that, and it's considered like an open buffet for any partner of ours who could just take part of it or take the whole thing, whether it's treatment planning, aligners, having their own portal, having a mobile app, etc., etc. Now, ClearX harmonizes with that really well, or syncs really well with that as well, where we're currently working on providing also co-branding option for ClearX. So we're not limiting for K-Line, but rather the goal is to make it available for everyone to use the same, and also provide it to their doctors or accordingly to their patients through a co-branding model that we're offering starting the AAO.
Okay, great. And then, will you have any in-booth events or lectures coming up that our listeners can check out?
Yeah, I mean, we have a schedule for the events where I myself will be given mini sessions through which these sessions we're going to be showing live how the boosting process happens. Mm-hmm. And I always love to show the doctors how exactly the shape shifting happens right in front of their eyes. Then it's like, the immediate belief, wow, this thing is real. It's not just only looking good on videos, photos, but really when they see it in front of them, then they start to also understand the full concept and the technology behind it. So yeah, I mean, we have these sessions where they include partial live demos, as well as also a lot of updates about where this technology is going to, and a little bit in depth into the technical part of the material and the patient journey.
Great. Well, Dr. Kandil, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, and I look forward to seeing you at AAO and for everybody to check out what ClearX aligners are doing. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot, and see you at the AAO.